Hello, y'all. I have inadvertently put myself in brain fog because the other day I went to go get my coffee pods and I got up to the register and I realized that I had accidentally purchased, sorry, let me lay these out. Look at me. What am I doing? I had accidentally purchased, decaf coffee, and I was like, it's fine. It's not a big deal. Caffeine doesn't really do anything for me anyway. And so what's the big deal? I'll just get rid of it, right? Well, I drink a cup of coffee every day. And the last few days I've been like, why do I have a headache every day? I'm just going through this where I feel like I have this total brain fog, or that my head is just bothering me. I don't get headaches or anything like that. So I was like trying to figure out what it was, and then I realized that I hadn't had caffeine all week. And so at this point though, I'm like, well, shoot, I've already been, several days without it because I really didn't know that I wasn't, I was in that space. So I'm just gonna not have caffeine at all. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. I'm not really sure because it does seem to affect things. But we're gonna try this. This is like the fourth time I tried to record this video, y'all. It's just been really difficult for me to connect in because of my headaches. And I took some headache medicine. I'm drinking copious amounts of water. So I'm hoping that all of those things are going to help me to kind of zone into your wedding, or to your wedding. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. I'm a wedding photographer as well. Zone into your reading. Sweet Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Oh my goodness. Okay. Today's reading is going to be about advice on your current situation. This could be about a connection. It most likely will be about a connection, but it could be about a number of things. And so rather than do a reading on connections, which are kind of all in the same space in this moment, especially within my collective, many of the connections within my collective are kind of in limbo. And so this is more so going to be advice for you, for whoever is tapping into this. If you are here to kind of read on a person, on someone else, make sure that you slow down, think about your person, and then choose a card. That initial kind of knee-jerk response is typically a reflection of your thoughts and perspectives. This could even work if the situation is involving someone else, to think about the situation and then choose a card. So just advice, because sometimes that knee-jerk hit is our energetic alignment, and so the messages that we're receiving really align with our thoughts and perceptions, and perhaps not an all-encompassing view of the situation. So with all of that being said, let's go ahead and move into it. We have group 1, group 2, and group 3. I'm going to take these out because I feel like those were up long enough for you to make a choice. Group 1, we have the creator. I love playing the wonder-filled game of life. Of what? Of life creatively. Sorry. I'm really hoping that some new music comes in for my collectives, because it's always the same things, and just immediately the song was again Grand Optimist by City of Color, where it's like and the part in particular is, I'm like a jack of all trades who is a master of none. So it could be a moment of going, of feeling kind of all over the place, being that creative energy or having a creative brain. Sometimes we get into a space where we're just kind of, we get really overwhelmed by sort of tasks and have like all the things that we are just narrowing in and focusing on simultaneously. And this can lead to burnout. One thing it does, it is kind of, I guess pushing me to mention is that sometimes when we are dealing with a situation and we have a creative brain, we can fall into assumption, illusion, and delusion, where we end up in a space where we're kind of creating scenarios and thoughts and realities within our mind that may not necessarily exist within reality, but it's because it's kind of like fear-based assumptions and also the brain's way of sort of analyzing a situation and trying to find resolve in it. So that could be sort of the message or the vibe that's going on with this connection or with you or with your situation here, group one. I will pull into energy actually from the Wisdom Oracle. Since this is advice related, I feel like this would be a good one to go with. And then we'll actually get right into tarot. I forgot, you know what? I forgot to mention that look at all the new things I got. And I got some new decks. And I got this movie tarot deck right here that I'm very, very excited about using. I also got a Supernatural deck with the show Supernatural. And then I got these intuition oracle cards. So, I don't know if I'll use the Supernatural deck today. I used it yesterday, and the vibe that I got from this deck is that it's like, it's kind of like cutthroat truth is the vibe from that. And so it's like, I really wanted it and I really like it, but it's also, it's like kind of one of those, it's like, it's going to be a deck that only comes out with a certain vibe, that if it's like a situation that needs some tough love, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. This one's super fun though, the movie tarot one. So anyway, what is the energy for group one, please? What is the energy for group one situation? What is the, oh boy, that's a lot. I have truth, to be, what is this? To be fair. I did have it come out in the reverse. So there may be a need for balance or fairness within this situation. What is the energy? Y'all, come on now. We can't have all of these things pop out at once. Can we? Some of these are so, okay. Buy the book. Buy the ticket, take the ride. Do have new life in the reverse. What is energy for group one, please? Oh my gosh, it's like they want me to pull out a whole bunch of cards. Y'all are killing me here. Truth be told, rejuvenation. I almost feel like that new life is supposed to be in the upright, but it could be just, it could be still kind of stuck in old ways of thinking, and maybe moving out of the old ways of thinking is sort of maybe why that card is in the reverse. To be fair, in the reverse is essentially being in the space of going, there needs to be sort of a balance brought in within this space, within this situation. And that is something that either you're aware of or someone else is aware of within this. Is like, it's kind of this, with this, I don't know, truth be told, is sort of, for me anyway, it is knowing that there is things that aren't being said, knowing that there are things that haven't been addressed, knowing that there are things that need to be addressed within this situation that are sort of not really being communicated upon. And then it's also kind of being in this space of, with this situation is going through sort of a new beginning. With By the Book, for me personally, what By the Book is for me is it's traditionalism. So if this is about a connection, traditionalism would be the man sort of pursuing the woman, or however, the masculine pursuing the feminine kind of thing, would be sort of a traditional thing. Having someone, the masculine energy lead would be traditional. By the Book to me is just straight doing things or operating in a space that is not essentially, it's not necessarily modernized. It's really going, it's kind of being not necessarily systematic, but it is sort of being in this space of wanting things to be done by the book, wanting things to be done in this sort of traditional sense, wanting and I think that this is a major shift that is occurring within a lot of relationships, by the way, group one, that, you know, there's a whole dynamic, there's a whole lot of situations out there where just within heterosexual relationships, okay, where women are dealing with men who are sort of placing them in a position to be chased for sort of their own security, but then they're not really reciprocating that. Well, and it's kind of like being put through tests and things like that, or that's how it feels. And I think that there are a lot of people, a lot of heterosexual women in particular, who are moving into the space of being like, you know what, no, I'm not gonna sit here and put in all the efforts while you don't do anything. And so I'm good on that kind of thing. And it's a space that a lot of heterosexual women are in right now, is going, I don't want to do that. So it's about sort of this regeneration thing is about essentially moving into a new way of thinking. And we have a lot going on with the upcoming eclipse, you know, I saw an astrologer talking about the upcoming eclipse and talking about how this is going to change relationship dynamics, and that essentially, like, anyone who isn't really good for you and isn't, if you're not intended to be with that person, then it's all going to go away. But it also talked about how conventional relationships are not going to be as, you know, that there's going to be new ways of looking at relationships. But I feel like the current conventional space is that there are a lot of feminine men, which is nothing wrong with men balancing into their feminine. It's when it goes off balance, and then that's creating, you know, as it's just creating a lot of conflict, because we have men and women in heterosexual relationships in particular that are moving in these energies which are out of alignment with them, and it causes a lot of resistance and a lot of fear and a lot of just situations that are occurring as a result of not having either the will or the patience to sit and you know, be in a space of wanting to receive, and also, you know, a lot of people not being in a space where they don't want to pursue, they're over it, you know. So it's kind of then it's just creating so many rifts and so many situations where it's like we want things to be done a certain way, and then we don't have the patience to sort of wait it out. And also we're being in this space where we're bringing in a lot of old dynamics into these new connections, where something reminds us of something we've experienced and we associate it with that person, and primarily because behaviors and understanding behaviors is a really difficult thing to do. So we're not in the space of understanding why someone might be operating the way that they are, or why we are experiencing something in the way that we are. And then you put yourself in a space of trying to analyze that, or worse, you step outside of it and go, oh my gosh, I probably looked this way because I behaved like this, and I didn't realize I was distressed, and I wasn't really, we're in this space of where we're not communicating, and part of communication is comprehension. We want people to understand where we're coming from realistically, and then help us, you know, to work together. And sometimes it's like we have to get into an understanding too that no one's obligated to work with us. If they are showing us and they are looking, they are essentially like handing us the blueprints and going, I don't want to work with you. And we have to kind of accept that and accept what they're saying. And also can't just be in a space of constantly reading between the lines with people. I think we're going into this era where truth is very important when it comes to connections and situations. And just being honest and being like, okay, What is going on really? How do you really feel? What are you really thinking? Why are you not communicating that? And so it feels like that's kind of what's going on with this situation. So I'll get you into the tarot and we'll get like a more in-depth look of what's going on in this particular situation. But it seems like if those are the topics of conversation, then it might have something to do with that. And I just want to state too, group one, or anyone, if they're listening on to this and it's not even their group, the gender thing, okay, so as far as like energy is not necessarily gender specific. I think that I have my own opinions on whether or not gender is innately within us as via our sex, our biological sex. I don't really know. I don't think that's true for all people particularly. But I do think it gets confusing, and I think that a lot of it is indoctrinated in terms of how things are presented. You know, we have to look at the situations and recognize that it kind of makes sense that men behave the way they do. And I know that's like not, by no means am I throwing them a wrench or whatever, or throwing them a lifeboat, or I don't know how to explain it, because it is their responsibility to recognize that their behaviors might come off a certain way. But just the things that men are, that are not only just expected of men on a general sense, but then how they get treated despite the fact that's all that's expected of them. It's really awful, honestly. And so there is this sense of, I'm hoping anyway, that we have men and masculines that are moving into this energy of really starting to step into their power and step up, because you know, it's a big problem in a lot of relationships. And because listen, a woman will soften to a heterosexual woman. I'm talking about heterosexual relationships, obviously. A woman will soften to a man who is kind of in a leading energy, no matter what her primary energy is. Like as a businesswoman, I'm a very masculine energy, right? And so I tend to move in a lot of spaces as a masculine, within masculine energy within my business, and in dealing with those kind of things. I'm also a single mother, so I take care of all of the things I provide for my family. I am operating in a masculine energy 90% of the time right now, being that I am a single mother and a business owner. Okay. But the right kind of energy could come in and completely soften that. And it really does take them kind of being in a space of not necessarily less just doing things, you know, knowing where to be of service, right? And then there's such a response to that, and a reciprocal response. So it kind of works that way, where it's this, clearly this connection is about this. I'm sorry, group one, but I saw a video the other day of this man that was like, he goes, I was interacting with a businesswoman, and I asked her essentially like, what day are you available and what times are you available, right? And so she was like, I'm available at this time in particular, right? He was like, okay, here's how you need to dress, here's where you need to be, here's what time you need to be there, and I'll see you then, basically. And then just set everything up for her, and was talking about how that she appreciated that because she's always in charge of everything. Anyway, all right. Clearly, this must be about that. Okay. What is going on in this situation for group one, please? What is going on in this situation for group one? Yeah. Just some thinking is going on. Yep. Hangman, Page of Coins. Trying to bring in stability, thinking about stability, moving into our power, feminine power, I would say, sensuality. You may be realizing that, ooh, Tower moment. Yeah, you might be going through this realization of kind of understanding what you've been accepting yourself for yourself, and really, really asking yourself with kind of a little bit more clarity if what you've been accepting for yourself is what you deserve. And deserve is such a weird word, because I don't think it's more about you deserve something, just because, I don't think that that's ever the case in any situation, but it's more so about, are you receiving what you are capable of giving, is more so the vibe that we're on right now, and moving into this awareness and really contemplating on this and going and looking at this situation sort of with a new set of eyes, and pulling out and looking at it and going, okay, so what happened here, and what is really going on here, and what am I expecting? Why am I hanging on to this situation when I'm not receiving what I'm giving, or what I have given, or at least from my perspective? Why am I looking at it this way, and why am I hanging on to this way? It's moving into having a moment of that sort of clarity with the tower here, going. And first of all, can we just acknowledge that the tower is Pulp Fiction, and it's that part, I strike down upon you with great vengeance. I don't know the speech, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Hopefully. Oh, I got so sorry. My ADHD entered. Sorry, I'm so sorry. But it is essentially just moving out and looking at this situation and going, okay, hold up, hey. What have we been accepting for ourselves in this situation? And it is kind of bringing in, it's like it is sort of this, like, it's at the beginning phases. Okay, so it's kind of at this, it's a thought at this time, or there may be some things that are coming into motion with it, but it's just a thought. And it's kind of one of these, looking at the situation and kind of zoning out and going, am I receiving what I give? Why am I hanging on to something that isn't giving to me? Why am I hanging in this space of whatever it is that I'm dealing with this in this situation? I'm not really, it's moving into this awareness that you are this like Queen of Wands energy, right? A very, maybe a desirable person, or has it together, is balanced. You're in this sort of energy of really connecting with self. And to be in that energy, if you're dealing with a connection or a situation, is very powerful, to kind of sit in your energy and be like, you know what, I'm good on that. Okay, what else, please? What else is going on in this connection, please? Yeah, definitely being in a space of just kind of holding your, Neo, holding your power. Might be a little bit focused on career in this moment, and kind of going, okay, like what am I gotta get this. Focus on your bag a bit, going, okay, I gotta get this. There could be also stuff coming in for you, like on the way. Okay, you have the Ace of Coins in reverse, the Star and the Empress in the upright, the Devil on the bottom of the deck. I just want to bring the Devil out because it's Selma Hayek and From Dusk Till Dawn. Even though I don't necessarily enjoy the Devil card. She the devil, she a bad little bitch, she a rebel. Okay, sorry. Yeah, it's more like a vibe with that Devil card, not necessarily like what it typically embodies, but it is sort of being in this awareness that you can, I don't want to use the word manipulate, but it kind of is, manipulate your experience here in life, and also recognize that when it comes to connections, or when it comes to the situation, clearly you've been in a space that's been very kind of, you're trying to bring in all of the elements, and trying to bring in all of the I guess the things that you need to do to be able to experience something that's fulfilling. You are sort of I mean, a catch, realistically. Like, you're somebody that, if there are people around you who are not not familiarized with the sort of balance and the sort of character, I guess, that you have, then I think those are people that really don't deserve to be there, that aren't really appreciating you for who you are. And it seems to be building into this awareness and being able to compare and contrast to your own sort of situation and the things that you have, maybe the things that you've done in your life, or the places that you've been, or even the experiences that you've had, and the intellect or the knowledge that you have on certain situations, and recognizing, hang on a second, I am worth more than what I have been accepting for myself. And kind of being in a space to then sort of, this card with the devil coming out is more like a manifestation card, right? Being in a space of being able to manifest your reality based on the things that you are aware you are capable of. No more of this holding yourself back. And it's kind of in this space of going, oh, like really looking at yourself and sort of being in a moment to recognize why it is that you are desirable, or why it is that you are sought after, and why it is that you could suffer a little bit from imposter syndrome, could have a bit of issues with rejection or abandonment, and maybe clinging on to spaces in which you feel rejected, and really moving out of that and going, no, I know what I am capable of providing, and I know that all I am asking is for that in return. In which case, good for you. I do want to mention as well that the creator card was your card. So there is this sense of being a powerful manifester. There is this sense of being able to kind of create the reality that you want, and honing in and focusing on that. And something that is coming up too is that right now it could be your focus is either required or necessary to be on your finances. Just with that ace of coins in reverse, and then also having so many coins on the board. And there's also not a whole lot of communication cards going on here. This is very much like things that would be an individual experience, right? There's not a whole lot of unity cards. There's not a whole lot of emotion cards. Actually, there's 0 cards of emotion. There's more so physical sort of senses on the board, also being in state of contemplation, or being in a space of it's sort of it's kind of like being on the precipice of either like an ending and a new beginning kind of thing, or just looking back and reflecting upon, okay, what is it that I've been accepting for myself, and building into an awareness that you might have been in situations where you're giving and not receiving at the same capacity of what you're capable of giving. So that's kind of what's going on in this situation. Hopefully that helps them. I'm going to give you advice on what to do moving forward within this situation. Y'all, don't you just love these cards? They're so cool. So cool. I love them. I'm going to see if I can shuffle these up really well. Okay. What is the advice moving forward for group 1, please? What is the... Oh, boy. Almost... What is the advice moving forward? Was that supposed to come out? I think I might have just accidentally bent that one. If it comes back out, then okay. It was meant to be. Literally. Okay. My goodness. I love when stuff like that happens. Wow. Okay, then. It's here. That's so funny. What is the advice for group 1 on this situation, please? Look at death as Donnie Darko. of Wands. What is the advice moving forward for group 1, please? Oh my gosh. Are we going to go with all of those? All right, let's do it. Swords. I have the 6 of Pentacles down here. I'm going to just check the bottom of the deck as well, just to kind of, and then here's that Page of Coins again. Okay. I really do feel like group 1 right now, within this situation or whatever it is that you've been dealing with, you're moving out of a space of, or you are being advised to move out of self-sabotage. You're being advised to really look at the situation and get a grip on it. Definitely being sort of in this space of inner conflict, right? And to bring that into balance, recognize that you are capable. And this is sort of like, this is definitely a new beginning here. This is a new thing. This is a new idea, or it's the death of an old idea. It's out with the in what? My goodness, out with the old, in with the new. Sorry. Yeah, definitely moving out of that. You may have been in a situation recently that, or maybe not quite recently, maybe in the recent past, or in the past where there's been quite a bit of heartache in your past. And with the Death card being above that card, I do want to say that I feel like that's the ending of that era of being in a space where everything is just, a culmination of feeling heartbreak. And so that's good. That's an amazing place to be in. And I think it does have a lot to do with this sort of awareness. One of the things that I feel like is the bigger sense of awareness within this situation is that you have a pretty vast emotional cup to offer. And also it looks as though what you require within this situation, or what you might require if this is the feminine and this is the masculine, you're seeking sort of a masculine that can come in with truth, with clarity, with communication, with decisiveness. It is sort of that sort of King of Swords energy, right? Being just the straight facts and being able to communicate with you in a space, or just even if that's the masculine energy that you are teetering between, you have a good balance of being able to be in a space that is, when you are in your masculine energy, or when moving in the masculine energy, you're action oriented, you are a leader and capable of sort of expressing the truth and bringing in, clear and concise communication, but also having the Queen of Cups alongside you, in which you can bring in the emotional balance and sort of being in a nurturing state, and being present with people while simultaneously kind of operating in that masculine space, or requiring that as a feminine and masculine, because there is this sense that you are capable of providing so much more in some spaces. And it's not that there isn't people out there that can provide that in return for you. It's just knowing where to look. And oftentimes, like, the more authentic we are with ourselves, the more in which our tribe is attracted to us naturally, where we don't have to do anything. We just have to be ourselves. And so there's also that sort of element of going, wait a second, I am worth this. I am capable, and also being in the space of, right now, I really do feel like one primary focus that is going on in your life, at least, maybe not necessarily within this situation or connection, if this is about a connection, but finances seem to be something that it's the self-sabotaging aspect is over the Four of Coins. So there is a sense of being able to get that into balance, and that this might honestly be impacting other areas of your life in terms of being able to connect. Because when you're safe and you feel comfortable financially, then everything else sort of is easier to deal with. So right now it's sort of being in this energy that is like, get focused, get stable, get grounded, and figure out all of these things maybe before you even are spending so much of your time worrying and distracted about a connection, and really honing in on what is it that you need to do to feel in balance within this department or in other areas of your life, and bringing in that sort of ultimate stability, and really stabilizing between your feminine and masculine, and also what you are willing to give and where you are willing to give your attention to. That we this thing is like, attention goes where energy flows, right? So why are we giving attention to things that are not giving us any attention? And so being in this space of going, I'm not going to, if this is about a situation or if it's about a connection and you've kind of been in a space of dwelling on the connection, this is kind of embodying you to no longer do that. What is being brought into justice, or what is being brought into balance, is not just sort of this, the financial aspect, but also communication, and then being able to be receptive to the kind of communication that will work best for you, that is in alignment with you. And also moving into the space of it's definitely an era of choosing self and getting out of this conflicting, where we're sort of in this space of overthinking, or we're in this space of dwelling. This is with the Nine of Cups in reverse, is kind of moving out of that, right? Moving out of, or at least releasing that, and getting, letting go of that is a good word to do as well for things that are in the reverse, is letting go of those internal conflicts, or letting go of the ways in which we sabotage our own experiences by being up inside our head and not really recognizing that maybe the reason that we're dwelling on this is simply because we're not receiving what we're giving, and then being able to kind of accept it and put it down and let it go. All right, group one, that is your message for this situation. If this resonated with you, please do like and subscribe to the channel. Leave me a comment down below. Turn on the bell for notifications so that you can come back later, as I do not currently have a schedule with these, and I would love to see you back in the future. Thank you so much for being here, group one. Enjoy the rest of your day. Oh no. I'm gonna take a little break. I'll be right back. I don't know if anyone just sat here and listened to my pause, but I had to go to the bathroom, so. Okay. Let us clear the energy and get into group. My poor little Palo Santo. It's just a hurting little body. Oh my word. All right. Group 2. Group 2. Hello, Group 2. The card that you got is the Intuitive. I am tuned in to the energy of those I care about. You got the 007 song coming. It's kind of interesting because the 007 song is really funny because the other day my daughter had a band concert and they played that song, and now it's like the song that comes in for like someone who is capable of of connecting into energy or being able to kind of read between the lines. Okay, group 2. What is the energy for group 2, please? What is the energy? Just hold up one second. If you didn't listen to the intro, I'm just going to do a little energy read, and then the majority of our read today is going to actually be in tarot. So I'm just going to do a quick energy check-in just so you kind of know if this is your story, and then we'll go into what's going on in your situation. Okay? All right, group 2. What is the energy for group 2, please? I heard that song, I'm Wide Awake, by Katy Perry, with that Cracked Open song. Earth, learning how to be human in the world, but not of it. And then rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. I really do feel like group 2, you're in a space of, I just had this hit come in that it was talking about we are, oh, what is it? There's a couple of them, but we are not a human being, we are a human doing is one thing. And then the other one is we are souls having, we have to remember that we are souls having a human experience, not humans having a soul experience. And so there is this point, okay, when you go through an awakening, or when you're in awakening, or when you're in a certain collective of people in which you almost feel inhuman. And not like in a grandiose, egocentric kind of way. No, more so that you're operating in a space where there are a lot of people that are operating sort of systematically the same, and you might be operating in a space that's like, do I connect with anyone in this moment, and realizing that there can be a whole room full of people that seem to be operating sort of similarly and feeling like you don't belong in that space. And so this is kind of like being in this moment of, sometimes I feel like when you are in that space and you do feel that way, then you're a leader. You're here to experience life differently. You're here to experience things in order to grow and evolve and really it doesn't mean that you have to be, outwardly a leader or an extrovert or be someone who is teaching other people, but you could be, but it's more so about leading by example, okay? And really moving into your own authenticity. Another thing here is to really trust your instincts and trust how you feel about this situation and trust that what you're feeling is real. Or, I mean, there's also a sense of, making sure that we're looking at things as they are, but having a knowing. And then doesn't necessarily mean that you have to act upon that. You can just know and stay within the knowing. So like if you're dealing with a connection, you feel that someone maybe has deeper feelings for you than they do, then you can kind of move into an acceptance with that and go, okay, I think that, I believe that they do. And then It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to act upon it. It just means that you can have a knowing and follow your intuition and follow what you're being guided to do. Be really grounded within this though, because sometimes speaking from personal experience, sometimes we can follow our intuition and our intuition can be very impulsive. And so there's also a sense of, really kind of recognizing that what feels right to us, maybe what we would naturally do is not always receptive in certain spaces. And so having sort of allowing the intuition guide you in a way that you're really grounding into that intuition and making sure that you're not kind of in this space of impulse with it. Okay. All right, so let's go into your advice on this situation, group 2. I got a new deck that I'm super excited to show you. It's very cool. Okay. All right. What is the advice for, I'm not advice, I'm sorry. Back me up. What is going on in this situation for group 2, please? What is going on in this situation for group 2, please? What is going on in this situation for group 2? Group 2, I don't normally go down this rabbit hole. I don't like to be bought the idea of third party energy. I don't really like to plant that seed, or I don't like to be sold that. But I am going to say that one thing that kind of did come up, however, is this sort of, okay, so it's not necessarily, there can be 2 scenarios here, okay, within this situation. So the first one is that you are balancing 2 people, or you are one among 2 people being balanced. That's one message here. The other is that you are being sort of advised to not be of service to as many people as you have been of service to. And that's kind of like I think that's more so what it is, just with the other cards kind of coming up in this, and being in awareness that what's going to get you, what is going to provide you stability is really getting out of this space of looking at things from a, if this is a connection, okay, it is kind of not choosing connections based solely on physical attraction and looking at it as like wanting sort of to be in a space where there's ultimate fulfillment within a connection would be another message here. And moving into also this, it's sort of being in a contemplation state of recognizing that what we give is what we deserve to receive in return, with this Empress and the 2 of Wands here. There is sort of to this, maybe this message or this awareness of being in that what is being brought into stability, or what's going on in this connection, is recognizing stability, but also recognizing that you're sort of the alchemizer. You're the creator, the person who is capable of building into this space in which you're recognizing that a lot of the ways in which you perceive the world around you and what you're receiving in the world around you is a manifestation, is understanding energetic alignment, in particular going into a reality of looking at things and going, oh my goodness, if I give out heartache and frustration and animosity and resentment, and well, I'm only going to receive more things to feel heartbroken about and be, feel resentment and animosity over. And also there's a bit of a hit on going that right now, this sort of the stability factor, maybe financially or otherwise, just foundationally, is a little bit out of alignment. And it's kind of moving into a space of really looking at that and sort of kind of taking a step back and really assessing sort of the situation as a whole and bringing in balance within that. And it does have a lot to do with recognizing or being in the space of recognizing that what we give is what we receive in any capacity, in any, if we feel a certain way about something or someone, and then that's reflected back to us, well, maybe if we shifted our perspective on it, we would be able to see things in a different light. And then again, this big thing about being sort of a giving person to many different people, and also building into an awareness that, again, it's like about it doesn't mean that you don't have to be a giving person or be someone who maybe acts of service is sort of your love language, and maybe being of service helps you to feel the one thing that we have to be, I guess, cautious of is if being of service is the way in which you feel accepted or validated from other people, or feel seen or appreciated or supported, and kind of moving. I got the High Priestess here on the bottom of the deck. I also have the Lovers and the Hierophant. Hold up. Sorry, I went weird. And the Fool. I love that the Lydia is, okay, sorry. Oh my gosh, I totally tripped myself up. I'm so sorry. My ADHD entered this. But anyway, it is about being in this space of going, okay, am I giving to the capacity that I'm self-sacrificing, and I am, anticipating or putting expectation into a response because I'm giving and giving and giving. And honestly, group 2, there are a lot of people, unfortunately, in this world in which you can give and give and give and give to, and they will simply take and take and take and take. And what you want, essentially, here we are, is balance. And so this is kind of going and choosing to go into a space of contemplation, of going into a space of not even necessarily contemplation. I think maybe, well, wait, this is advice, right? Yeah. Okay. So you are being kind of advised to go into this space of looking at this situation, or looking at even yourself, and recognizing the spaces in which you are just expected to give, or have been sort of service to people that don't appreciate it. Okay. And then moving into connections in which you feel sort of seen, and you feel a bit, sorry, I'm trying to get rid of this little fly that's hanging around. But being able to receive what you are capable of giving, and also being in a space of recognizing that that is what you deserve. Okay. And it's also about kind of taking a dive into the unknown, and that this ultimately is what's going to provide you with a fulfilling connection with somebody else is really kind of going within and doing the work on yourself, or at least focusing on self until you feel that reciprocated in somebody else, and feel that what you have given to someone, they are capable of giving you in return, and making sure that we're not going down these cycles of being in spaces with people where we're giving and we're not receiving, and then we just keep giving because we feel like they need us to hold their hand out for us. It is actually a very true statement, group 2, that if somebody wanted to, they would. Because we'll see that all the time with people where they'll change everything about how they behave for a person that they weren't providing us, or that they weren't providing someone else. And so never be in a space where we're making excuses and we're not using intuition to guide us, because ultimately we do know the truth, and sometimes we don't want to accept it. So what we do when our intuition is telling us, basically the facts and the truth, we'll get into a space of an illusionary sense, and we'll be in a space of just kind of creating scenarios and realities that don't necessarily exist outside of expectation or what we want to see happen. And this is like moving into a space of, if you don't see it happening, then it's not happening, and there's nothing to read between the lines. And really using your intuition to guide you in that sense, instead of allowing illusion to guide you and assuming it's intuition. Okay. All right. Let's do... I think this was the advice moving forward. I can't remember if I did 3 spreads for the last one, but I think I did. And I'm not sure what I did. I might have only done 2. All right, well, let's do one more on just like a quick advice moving forward for group 2. I think that was really the advice moving forward. Again, this is kind of inviting you too to focus on stability. This is financial stability. It also could be an indication that you have some sort of financial or some sense of stability coming into you, or that if you do this, yeah, you'll receive that. And because this is talking kind of about that there is a heavy focus right now on finances, or a heavy focus on stability. And also a recognition that both, like, this equal give and take of, it's just kind of repeating this a little bit. So the things that are out of balance in this moment, group 2, is the financial stability, or at least some kind of foundational stability within you, or within connections that you have, or within the situation. And the other thing is that there is not an equal give and take in terms of emotions, okay, in terms of feelings, okay, of being able to receive if you're telling someone, I feel this way, and they just are acting like they have no idea what you're talking about, or they avoid that connection, then I think that's a time for you to kind of disconnect from that space, because that person is essentially telling you, they're either, they could be telling you that they're playing a game, and that's going to be up to you. Do you want to play a game, or do you want a healthy connection? Or you can step outside of it and be like, you know what? No, I'm not going to accept this for myself. And so when someone or something, or a situation is willing to, that shows me they have the capacity to give what I have to give, then I'm going to go that way. It's also a message too of making sure that you are finding like-minded people, and having an awareness of really the type of connections that you want. Remember that you are the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And so look around you in the connections that you have in your inner circle, and the people that you communicate with the most. What are they doing with their life? What are they talking about? What is it that they have going on? Are they doing things that are benefiting the world around them? Are they often, like, what kind of energy are they in? That is essentially like an indication to you that you are also within that space and also within that energy. And there are times in which, yeah, you might be the beacon among your friends, but why are you holding yourself down for the safety of others? All right, group 2. That is the message for you on this situation. If you resonated with this, please like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications. Come back for more. Leave me a comment down below. I love hearing from you. Thank you so much for being here. Enjoy the rest of your day. Group 3. You have the loner. It says, I enjoy being alone and getting in touch with my true feelings. So, all right, group 3. What we're going to do today is we're just going to pull a couple energy cards from the Starseed Oracle, and then I'm going to go straight into tarot reading for the rest of the group. So we're going to do it just a little bit different of a dynamic today. We're not going to focus a whole lot of time on energy. We're going to focus more on what's going on with this connection and then advice moving forward for you. All right, group 3. I do get this sense of being sort of in a space of kind of like readiness, but also just being comfortable kind of being in this space of what is that song that is coming in? Long Lonesome Highway East of Omaha. Oh my god, what is this song? It's gonna drive my freaking ADHD brain nuts. It's like, on the road again. Is this a Bon Jovi song? No, it's not. It's Turn the Page by, oh my god, someone was probably like, what? Did she just say Bon Jovi? Who sings that? Bob Seger. Who's the original singer of that song? Because I always think of Metallica, and I know it's not that. Is it Bob Seger? Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, okay. So Turn the Page is the song. Super, yeah, common song. Well, hopefully you know that song. I mean, I think a lot of us will know that song. Goodness. Sorry, we went on a little side quest there. Anyway, that's the song that came in. If I can figure out who sings it. So it is kind of being on this journey to self and acceptance of self, and being in this space of I do get a sense of loneliness in it, but also a sense of choosing yourself without regard, really, and being like okay with sort of being in this kind of nomad zone and not really having, just trying to connect in with yourself. So, all right. What is the energy for group? Yeah, and we have Forge Don't Follow, which makes a lot of sense as kind of moving into this space of leadership within self. What else do we have? 2 more here. We have the Courageous, Peony, Multifaceted, Unique, Let Yourself Be Seen. This is really stepping into your own power and wait. It is not time yet. Things are being woven. Okay, so it is kind of like being in this space, in this moment of, if you're doing the work on self, keeping it to yourself. Sometimes when we are, like, the best way for us sometimes to experience sort of, they always say that a good thing is to not share your goals with others, that actually energy can really kind of put a wrench in things. And so this is kind of being in a space of, if you're working on something or you're working on self, or you're being in this kind of space where you are sort of in the throes of building a strong foundation within self, is like keeping it to yourself, as opposed to to not kind of putting yourself out there yet is really working on all of the things, getting into a space in which you feel balanced and stable. And, you know, it's kind of like starting from square one, starting from scratch a bit, and starting sort of over within how you're viewing yourself in life and life around you, and really isolating into that. And, kind of going through, this reminds me of like going through a portal a bit, of going through this sort of ascension process, maybe where you're stepping into a new reality, but you're not quite ready for what's ahead of you, or you're in this space of really needing to be in a strong foundation within self before moving into this next kind of paradigm. So that is the energy. Let's get you into what's going on in a situation and then advice. Okay. I got a new deck, y'all. I'm very excited. It's a movie tarot deck. It's like all characters from movies. It's so cool. I love it. Okay. Let me actually burn a little bit of Palo Santo before we go. My poor little Palo Santo thing. It's like down to the wire, and I'm just hanging on to it with dear life. I have other ones kind of laying around the house. I have Palo Santo just like strung around the house in so many different places. Like, so I should just grab another one, but do I do that? No, I do not. I'm dedicated. All right. Plus it smells so good. Okay, group 3. What is going on in your situation? What is going on? Oh, okay. That was quick. What is going on in group 3's situation? That song, Let's Get Down to Business by Eminem came in. Oh my gosh, all of these things came out. Okay. A lot of these came out in the last one. Where are we going with this? Really? Okay. Wow. Okay. What else is going to require a drink? Oh my goodness, my coffee's gone. Oh no. Wah, wah. Okay. What is going on in this situation? Yeah, this is definitely like a moment of, it's almost like a pause, right? It's a moment of really going in and honoring self. There's not a whole lot of unity cards here. There's not a whole lot of, you know, other people involved with this particular read. It is, you have, I mean, okay, first of all, you have the Hierophant, the High Priestess, and the Temperance all out. So this is, all of those cards are about connecting in with self, and also about connecting in with faith as well, and connecting in with spirit. But this is very much like holding into, or are moving into our own empowerment and going within. It's crazy that the Hermit card isn't out here. But it is about bringing in that stability and that balance. Okay, it does seem like you've been in a situation or a space in which and also you could be in this moment of having to release this sort of sense of always having to be in resilience, or always having to be sort of in this state of mind where your defenses are up. Okay, so this is kind of moving out of that, you know, moving into a space in which it's building into this awareness that you don't have to be in that space. You don't have to be in a space in which you're always having your defenses up. And it could have something to do, it could just have something to do with maybe someone sort of being emotionally unavailable with you, or it could also be that you have a history of being in spaces with emotionally unavailable people, and this is about really balancing into maybe the understanding on the why, and going in within self and looking at the situation and going, why do I continually be in spaces with emotionally unavailable people? Why is it that I am operating in that space, and do I deserve this? This is all about equal give and take. Being in a situation in which we are looking at ourselves and going, am I receiving what I am capable of giving? I don't need to have things in return, but is there a reciprocal space here, or am I giving and giving and giving and not receiving? And so that's kind of what's going on within this situation, is being in a space of recognizing that you are capable, as you are the creator, essentially, right? So what you give, you receive. If you're giving out this idea that you're not good enough, that no one cares about you, that you're not worth it, that you're never going to receive anything in return, well, that's what the universe or whomever or whatever you resonate into will reflect back onto you, because it's about energetic alignment. And so if you get into a space that we're looking at, in a receptive energy, that I deserve the love that I am willing to give. I am capable of giving to this capacity, and this is what I not necessarily deserve even. It's just I am in a space that I should receive what I am willing to give, and I will not accept anything less than what I am willing to give. And that is the bare minimum of what I will accept, is that if I am capable of providing it, then I must be in spaces where I am capable of receiving it as well, and accepting that for myself, and not putting myself in a space or a position where I'm not allowing myself to receive because I believe I don't deserve it. So, bam. And this is really about a contemplation in that moment of recognizing that also that if we wish to receive love, we must give love out. But not at our own expense. Thank you. Okay, so that's kind of what's going on in this situation. And let me give you advice moving forward. What is the advice moving forward for group 3, please? Getting out of a space of holding everybody else's problems. Put them down. It's not your problem. Release yourself from that. The only thing that you need to carry are your problems. Even if you feel like, if you have the capacity to hold, then you're holding yourself back by holding on to other people's stuff for them. We all need to be in a space in which we are, working on our own things. It's not your job to put your hand out for everybody. 6 of Swords. And the Magician. Yeah, again, being that creator of your own sort of space. Dropping things on the floor. Okay. Yeah, and this isn't just about... Hold on. Let me move in. What else is the advice moving forward for this? 2 more, please. Advice for group 3. Lots of stability cards. No union cards actually in this. Okay, so it is sort of this process of slowing down and letting go of really being in a position in which we're kind of carrying all of somebody else's, carrying the workload essentially as well. Could be another aspect. and then having strength in this, like this release of old cycles, being in a, you know, holding your power and really stepping into it, stepping into your power, and deciding to step outside of an old cycle, deciding that no, I don't, again, deserve is such a weird word, but it is sort of being in that space of, I don't deserve this. I deserve to receive what I am giving in any situation. And if I'm capable of this, I need to be met with what I'm meeting at. And also being in awareness that there's a lot of internal conflict within that. This is a fighting against self, and bringing that into balance. And what is going to bring that into balance is to discontinue fighting against ourselves, and discontinue being in a space in which we're sort of we're operating in this space of internal conflict, and also being where we're kind of self-sabotaging in a sense by expecting something from others that they're either not capable of giving, or they're just not giving. And sometimes we just have to move into acceptance, right? Rather than moving from expectation, move into acceptance. What is it that is being clearly presented to us? Accept that, and then move from that space and recognize what it is that you deserve to receive in this situation. And then it's just about, at that point, you know, what you really need to contemplate on, and what you're being called to pull into contemplation, is this acts of service. Not, I don't know why it said persona, but it's not necessarily persona. It's like this characteristic trait within you, right? Being of acts, having this acts of service trait within you, really kind of understanding, okay, well, the why behind that. Why is it that I'm that way? It's totally okay to have acts of service as a love language, but not when it is at your demise, or what is the right word here that I was just looking for? Your own detriment, right? Where you're sacrificing yourself to be of service to people who do not do the same for you in return. And it's building into that awareness, bringing in stability within that in particular. Also, there could be, again, there's been a lot of elements of bringing in stability within finances, because sometimes when that becomes an issue within our life, then it does kind of wreak havoc in other spaces. And so there is sort of that awareness as well of sort of moving into this space of abundance. But also it's kind of embodying you that as the creator, you have the ability to create this abundance, being that this is underneath the magician. So it's really about coming in and connecting with self, and kind of just taking out everything and looking at the situation from really as a clean slate, and kind of starting at square one and going, okay, this is what I deserve. This is not what this is what I'm capable of giving. And this is what I need in return to feel secure within these spaces. All right, group 3, that is your advice for this situation. Hopefully that helped you. If you would like to see more from me, please like and subscribe, turn the bell notification on. I know today wasn't a super huge reading. I've been dealing with some headaches recently because I accidentally am weaning myself off of caffeine because I bought decaffeinated coffee. So I have a little bit of brain fog, but hopefully that resonated with you and offered you some advice on your situation. If so, leave me a comment down below. Let me know if it resonated. Come back for more in the future. Thank you so much for being here. Enjoy the rest of your day, group 3.